Hey everybody, this is pretty much just going to be an unhinged rant, but it is what it is. I don't tend to talk about Bethesda very much in my videos. There's two parts as to why. Number one, it's probably the studio that meant the most to me due to how it gave me uncountable hours of joy and escapism across their Elder Scrolls games and even Fallout 3 and 4. So sometimes, it's the hardest one to criticize because of that. Number two, they're just boring, aren't they? I mean, think about it, they got nothing going on. Their last proper release was, well, to be fair, it was in 2023 with Starfield, even though that game totally failed to gain the kind of relevance and cultural significance that their previous games did. Like, we got a Skyrim and a Fallout 4 anniversary, but you can bet your salted caramel nuts that Starfield is not going to be given the same treatment. But before that, it was Fallout 4 10 years ago. So in 10 years, we got two full-fledged Bethesda releases and then that other cursed thing that nobody asked for and that wears Fallout as a skin. The Unreal Engine Oblivion remake was developed by some French studio and it's just another remake, and everything else they've put out have been re-releases. And I'll be real with you guys, I'm not even one of those people who give Bethesda a hard time for Skyrim's re-releases, because at the end of the day, when you have a game that people around the world just refuse to drop and keep going back to, then why wouldn't you update it and release it on new hardware? It's a totally different situation than, for example, seeing Naughty Dog release a game in 2020, right, so The Last of Us 2, then they do an update patch for it in 2021 or 2022, making it look nice and sharp and run at 60 FPS on the PS5, and then in 2023 or 2024 they did a remaster of that same game for the first console, not to mention the remake of the remaster of the first game, and now the re-release of both the remake and the remaster in a collection priced at $120. Really, the only issue that there is with Skyrim's re-releases is that Bethesda rests on their laurels and doesn't do anything else. It's been 14 years since the last Elder Scrolls release, and the next one is still far, far away. But anyway, all this just to say that what Bethesda just did with their little hyped up Fallout Day 2025 announcement thing, where they revealed that they were going to be reselling Fallout New Vegas, a 15-year-old game, for like $150 solely on PC with no new content nor any fixes, was insane. You can buy that shit right now for like $10, just get the Fallout New Vegas Ultimate Edition. But even worse than that was what they did with Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. Like, that one, I've been actually shocked about it. I've been legitimately speechless over it. This has been another disaster, even more than the last times, and yeah, in case some of you may not be aware, Bethesda has done this thing several times before where they essentially re-release a game with a new version, they add next to nothing to the new version, and they don't fix the issues in the game, but they just re-release it and then it breaks everyone's games because of their mod loadouts, often even breaking mods themselves, which then require their creators to update them or some other modder with their permission. And in many cases these mods are crucial because they include the unofficial patches that modders actually create to fix the problems in the game that Bethesda has refused to do for years. But unlike previous times where at least the base game worked, meaning the main issue was only for mod users, this time around the actual game itself that people are spending their money to buy or upgrade isn't working properly. We got terrible freezing and crashing whenever you're launching the game, whenever you're creating new save files, whenever you're browsing menus, or just, well, playing randomly playing the game, moving around from place to place. There's people who've been reporting that the game just forgot that they own certain DLC, so it's not showing up, it's showing up as unpurchased. The very content that you're supposed to be getting for buying this new edition of the game or for upgrading your previous version is cooked too. There's failures to download and install the mini DLCs, you know, the content creations. The previews aren't showing up, and you know, these issues, they've been here for years, by the way. I've always had issues like this on the Fallout 4 creation menu. The thing would often crash me back out to the main menu, or the images wouldn't load, or it would freeze and be slow, or I'd have to click download numerous times because the damn thing just wouldn't register, and apparently, you know, they've had years to fix all of this crap, but it's still there. And now they updated the creation menu to include both creations from Bethesda and user mods, just like Skyrim did a few years ago, but the problem still persists. And by the way, I'm not sure if this is a new update that just came out right now with the anniversary, or if they already did this in the past year or so, because I haven't actually played the game in over a year, so I can't be 100% sure of that. But yeah, the new menu is in, it's bad, I'll get into why in a second, and it's still a mess. A bunch of people are also reporting shit like this, a bunch of visual artifact glitches which often signify that your game is about to crash, and guys, I'm gonna be real with you, okay? If I list all the issues and all the problems I've been seeing, we're gonna be here all afternoon. In many ways, fellas, this is just Tuesday. The truth is that Fallout 4 has been an unstable mess of a game since the very beginning. That's why this is happening. Ever since the game's launch back in 2015, it felt sluggish, clunky, like it's being held by duct tape and like it's constantly on the verge of something crashing or bugging out. And I say this as a fan. I do not hate Fallout 4. Truth is, this game swallowed me up back then and didn't get me to let go for over 2 months. And then after those 2 months, I just started a new playthrough with another character, playing it again in between other games. And ever since then, I've returned for the expansions, and every now and then I dove back in for a new fresh playthrough, sometimes with mods, sometimes without. So I'm not just hating on Bethesda because it's trendy, I'm not saying this as some card-carrying member of the Bethesda hate club, but it's just the goddamn truth. This game has always been an unstable-ass, volatile mess, and so every time Bethesda added more stuff to it, it came with the added danger of it messing with something else. And many times, it did. So for the life of me, I don't understand why the fuck does Bethesda keep doing it. I don't understand why they have to keep poking the beehive without making an effort to at least make sure that shit works. And that's not even speak of actually going back and fixing the shit that they are continuously relaunching at full price. You know, it's pretty retarded to look back on it now after so many years of this, but it's insane how soft we were on Bethesda as a community. It's crazy that Bethesda literally got away with releasing buggy messes under this sort of vibe of being a cute, lovable, bumbling fool. Kind of like the Michael Scott of game studios.
Why don't you explain this to me like I'm 5?
Where they fucked up, didn't really apologize, but in the end somehow the shit worked out, often thanks to modders. And so all of it kind of would end up in a "oh you" kind of attitude. This became so prevalent that Bethesda themselves would lean into the joke in their presentations, such as the one on Fallout 76 or Starfield. I can't really remember exactly which one it was at the moment, I'm sorry, it's late, I kinda just fired this up in the middle of the night because I couldn't wait, I got mad. But they did, they played into the bumbling fool bullshit, and people in that E3 crowd or whatever it was just laughed like, haha, they get it, they're in on the joke, they suck, but we're still here celebrating and buying their shit.
I read on the internet that our games have had a few bugs. I did. I read it on the internet, so it's true. And that sometimes it doesn't just work.
It just loaded up the game in Diamond City, look. What the crap? What is this? Freaking Anniversary Edition? Are you kidding me? What the shunk, bro? What is this? The freaking Burj Khalifa?
This happened because we allowed it to happen, and I believe the consensus was mainly because in the end, their games paid off because they offered something unique that others could not replicate. This was mainly more present in the Elder Scrolls games than the Fallout series. In fact, while I love the Elder Scrolls games so much and I enjoy them as they are, I think one of their biggest mistakes with Fallout was to try and apply the Elder Scrolls game design to it, which meant sacrificing the roleplay depth that was present in the original Fallout games. Little by little, Fallout 3 suffered from this, and then Fallout 4 had even less of it. In fact, Fallout 4 had so much less of it that even Skyrim ended up having more roleplay depth than Fallout 4. leaving this game to really just be an action-adventure game with dialogue choices. But anyway, this vibe, for lack of a better word, again guys, I'm sorry, it's late, where we treated Bethesda with soft gloves due to them having made brilliant games before and the games always outshining their buggy blunders, failed to take one important thing into account, which was, what about when the day comes where the stories that they tell fail to captivate us? What about when the day comes where that organic feeling of adventure is gone because they change direction or keep watering down their game design tenets year after year? What about when Bethesda loses its identity and consequently their ability to still make an interesting enough and immersive enough and engrossing enough world? What about when the day comes that we run out of excuses? And that shit hit me like a hammer when Starfield released. The signs were already there with Fallout 76 because to this day I still don't know, how, or I don't understand how the fuck did they even reach the conclusion to even make the damn thing. But again, I largely ignore Fallout 76's existence. My brain phases it out of this dimension as if it was a plague in order to protect the rest of my body. So with Starfield, it really hit me hard because despite how ass 76 was, I still had hopes that, the main team working on this long-awaited and long-dreamed project of the creators themselves is definitely the A-team, the OGs. And so I'm sure that they're going to take what they did with Fallout 4, they're going to listen to the feedback and they're going to address the issues and make Starfield a much better game that just does what Bethesda usually does, but better.
What are you, retarded? So I know you're not retarded, but what are you, Down syndrome?
Boy oh boy was I coping because I got a game that I didn't even bother to finish. I got a game so barren of interesting content, characters, stories, choices, etc. that it wasn't even worth renovating my Game Pass, which at the time was still cheap, like 13 or 15 euros. Bethesda should really never have been given the leeway that they were given. They abused our goodwill, they rested on their laurels and allowed rot to take over the damn studio, to the point where they can't even make a game that at the very least did the bare minimum to carry that Bethesda DNA. They couldn't even maintain the low level of acceptable quality that Fallout 4 had, and oh my god, that's already very low. I would even say that it's not acceptable because, like I just said, this game has been broken since day one. It's been an unstable mess. It's just that everything else managed to get you over that hump. But they didn't even manage to fucking maintain that with Starfield. The only credit that you can give Starfield as an objective thing is how it was a stable release without the same usual issues that their previous releases had, from loads of bugs all the way to outright broken launches. And to this day, Bethesda is still there in that headspace. That's why they don't develop shit anymore, and the shit they are developing has no hope of being good. That's precisely how I feel about Elder Scrolls 6, even though I'd love to be proven wrong. I mean, of course I would. Look at my channel banner. I'm a fanboy of the Elder Scrolls. And as much as I'd hope to be proven wrong, I have zero hope that I will be, because in all these years Bethesda has shown no signs of acknowledging their mistakes and being better. If anything, they did the opposite. Like when Starfield developers took to the internet to defend their mediocre-ass game against people's criticisms like, "Nuh-uh, you guys are actually wrong. This is a terrific video game." No, it's not, brother. No, it's not. Stop coping. When the bar is so damn low because your fans have been battered due to how long they have to f***ing wait for a new release, and you still manage to screw that up and watch your game die as hardcore fans abandon it and just go play Skyrim and Fallout 4 again instead, you know you fucked up. When your modders, who have been around your video games for over a decade, supporting them with content, literally abandon it because the goddamn game is too boring to make mods for, you know you fucked up. And can someone also please explain to me, why does it take them so damn long to release a game? Like, I'm sorry, I'm getting mad now. It is what it is, but someone please explain to me, how is this possible? How is it that Starfield took 8 years to get made and Elder Scrolls 6 was still in pre-production when that launched? Like, my brother, what have you been doing all these years? But this is not a small studio. I know their games are big. Trust me, I know that. I know and I respect it. Because I believe that that's how those Elder Scrolls games can be so engrossing. They wrap you into their worlds because everything is handcrafted. Loads of work goes into the lore, making the worlds feel real and lived in, etc. That's why you got videos comparing Avowed to Oblivion, because they put in the work back then. But Bethesda is not a small studio, dude. They were huge already way back in the Fallout 4 days, and I imagine they've only grown since then. But with these guys, it's like the more they grow, the longer the development times get, and the worse the games get. I mean, holy fucking puta que pariu, meu, foda-se. Sorry, the fucking native in me came out. A funny thing that I sometimes think about is how I bet that there's some motherfucker somewhere at Microsoft that probably starts mulling over in their head, you know, over the acquisitions, like, man, we really shouldn't have bought Activision. All that did was bring us headaches. But holy shit, the biggest waste of money has got to be that Bethesda. I mean, god damn, how much did we spend? 7 billion on that thing? And all they did so far was release one game that they already had in development, and the next one ain't even close, and then the next one after that is over a decade away? Ho boy, that was a really stupid fucking acquisition, Billy. Like, seriously, given my analytics here on YouTube, most of my audience is between the ages of 24 and 35. There is a good chance that we're all going to be dead by the time that they got another Fallout game ready to go. Either from old age or disease, or maybe like the world crumbling into a war against AI or corporations. Either way, my guys, that shit is a long time away. Let me put it this way, by the time that we see a new Fallout game, the Fallout TV show will be on its 6th season of its second remake, and there is no conceivable way of explaining why. You look at other studios like CD Projekt Red and what they were able to put out in 10 years, Witcher 3, me, more, Witcher 2, Witcher 3, and Cyberpunk, and it's just like, what are we doing? Do you now perhaps understand why I don't talk about Bethesda very often? I am just pure mad right now. There's no timestamps, there was no intro, there has been no form of structure whatsoever. I don't even know what background music I'll be using on this, or if I'll be using any at all. Like, I'm just running on mad juice while trying to keep cool, and failing at it back there. Sorry about that, by the way. But anyway, let's get even madder by going into the Creation Club content itself. So full disclosure, boys, I used to be a GigaChad PC gamer years ago. I didn't have an ultimate rig or anything, but I had a nice one that my grandpa gave me for school purposes, and it ran games too. Eventually, with game companies chasing ultra graphic upgrades, I was left behind and bought a PS4, and I've been a console guy ever since. And as a console guy, I was never against the Creation Club. In fact, I liked it. If memory serves, it first came to Skyrim's PS4 release and then Fallout afterwards. And the reasons why I didn't have an issue with it at the time were as follows. Number 1, as a console player, we don't have mods. Skyrim did add mods to consoles, but on PlayStation, there were no external assets, and so the mods were much weaker, very limited, very little diversity, etc. The Creation Club was an avenue for me as a console guy to be able to download cool new content, even if I had to pay. Number 2, the pricing wasn't bad. The notion of paid mods is ridiculous, of course, but as curated content worked in part by Bethesda, it felt more like the same kind of thing you see in e-stores in other games like from Ubisoft, or for example Arc Raiders with their $20 outfits that I complained about in last week's video. Except here, unlike those games, it wasn't cut content sold to me separately after release, it was new content for a much older game. Some had high prices, but it was never egregious like $20 for an outfit. Others were priced very well, like for example new armor sets for $1 or whole DLC-sized side quests for $12. It was just a matter of buying what you valued and wait for a sale on the other ones, since they did run sales on them very often. Sometimes they even offered some of them for free. Though on the Fallout 4 side of things, they were worse. The prices were higher on average and they began abusing it, like we had really weird shit shit being added to it. I'll get to that in a second. Number 3, every creation that was added was made by a modder alongside Bethesda or checked and curated by Bethesda before adding to the creation club. This shit was basically almost by commission back then, so they were rare and they were generally good and connected to something in the wider Elder Scrolls universe, and number 1, they worked. This has all changed since then, and I have been wanting to make a video exposing how bad it got because I don't see anyone talking about it. And I will, hopefully soon, but for now suffice to say that since then, the Bethesda side of things is fully gone, and now the platform exists for random fucks to just upload mods and set a price on them. And some of these mods are a clown show. They're not tested, they have bugs, they come in incomplete, and their descriptions are dog shit. Like with the Bethesda aligned ones, you'd get a fair description of what you're buying. This isn't the case anymore. This is a system that Bethesda has allowed to exist, and it is their responsibility to moderate it, but they don't. And now that the Fallout mods tab has been updated to be the same as Skyrim's, where we only have the creation menu, and in that creation menu we have both mods and creations thrown together, chances are that we're going to see the same shit happening with modders just throwing in garbage for a price. And that's if that's not already there, because honestly, like I said earlier in the video, this creation update menu thing might not be new. I only just saw it now because I hadn't jumped back into Fallout 4 in over a year. So that's problem number 1. And it's only an aside. Now let's get to point 2, the price. Truth is, when the Skyrim Anniversary Edition launched, I thought it was a good deal. $20 for the upgrade and you got all the creations. I owned some of them and I still felt like it was worth the price for the rest. Fallout 4 is doing the same thing for the same price, and to be fair, there's worthwhile content in there, but they're doing this shit way too late. They should have done this bundling thing together with Skyrim, like when it happened in Skyrim, it was in 2021 or whatever. That's when they should have done it for Fallout as well. When they didn't do this, in my mind, it was like, okay, well, they're not going to do the same deal for Fallout that they did for Skyrim, so forget about it. I'll buy the ones that I want. And then as time went on, I just bought a few every now and then that I was interested in whenever they went on sale. By the way, if you guys are interested in some sort of content review or some shit for them, I would be open to do it. I almost did it for Skyrim all the way back then, but since I had no subs, no views, and no name to myself, and zero confidence that people would ever even want to watch videos of mine, I didn't. But if that's something that interests you, leave a comment saying so. But the point is, I bought some of these fucking things. And so now there's this other issue here with Fallout, which is it's very convoluted. See, Skyrim had a few creations. They were plenty, but they were still a few. Fallout has a shit ton of them, but basically only a few of them are worth your time, and then there's a bunch of garbage like loads of collars for your Pip-Boy, or loads of collars for your outfits or paint jobs, or for your weapons, or loads of dog breeds and collars for your dog, or power armor collars and decals, so on and so forth. It's pretty overwhelming. So if you're like me and you already bought the creations that interested you, you might still see a bunch of them left and think that you're getting anything of value out of it or new, but you're not, and the game's not going to warn you about it. I own a bunch of them. I'd say I own most of the good stuff, like weapons, armors, quests, outfits. I even have some retarded shit like the Doom outfit and gun, and the price is still the same for me, despite it clearly not being worth my money to buy the upgrade. The thing still shows that there's a lot of crap for me to unlock, but it's not new crap. It's crap that they had bundled together. It's a little bit difficult to explain, so I'm just asking you guys to please be wary of that, because there's another problem on top of that as well, which is even if you're not fooled into thinking that there's new content, the thing itself tells you that there's new content. And in a way, there is. It's content that isn't in the Creation Club yet, okay? But if you're on PlayStation, it actually doesn't have new content, because some creations, and this is a thing that's been going on for a while now already, are now doing the same thing that mods do, where external assets aren't going into it. This was never a problem until now, by the way. Well, until now, I mean until recently. Skyrim and Fallout both had creations being added in with new assets. Again, it was like Bethesda releasing a DLC. But now, ever since Bethesda separated itself, there have been creations coming into the Creation Club that are not actual creations, they're paid fucking mods. And this right here is how you can tell them apart from something curated by Bethesda as a mini DLC or a mod that you're being made to pay for. If it's not on PlayStation, it's a mod from a modder that you're paying for, with no Bethesda involvement whatsoever. I don't care if you like the modder, I don't care if it's like another mod from Eleonora or whatever the if it has a price on it and it's not on PlayStation, it's just a mod that you're paying for. So if you're a PlayStation user, be wary. If you own all the good stuff already, just don't buy this because you're not going to get anything new like the stuff from the Fallout show or the stuff from New Vegas. As of right now, these creations are not available on PlayStation, and if I am to assume that it's going to be the exact same case, then they will not come to PlayStation at all, and you're just losing money for buying this upgrade. Next, another issue is the bloat. As I said before, Fallout 4 is about as stable as a polyamorous relationship with a Roblox girlfriend. So the more shit you add onto your game, the more chances you're going to have of freezing, crashing, and just random shit being broken. I've had the weirdest bugs on fresh installs, I swear dude, and I'm talking about zero mods, just Creation Club content. The worst bug I ever had, that refused to go away until I fully formatted my PlayStation 5, was one where Codsworth would just not do anything at the start of the game. Like the scripting in the game just broke and he wouldn't do the quest, which meant the entire main quest was locked out. It didn't work to go to Concord either, like the stupid ass characters just froze in place, Preston Garvey was just on the balcony doing nothing. The scripting was just not working for scripted events to play out. Inside the building, I tried to get into the conversations with the characters, they would not talk about the thing. I had another one where the gate in Diamond City wouldn't open, so you're just stuck outside with Piper. Luckily, with a bit of exploitation of Bethesda's broken ass game, you could go and bug your way into the city and then just use fast travel in and out. But yeah, get ready for these kinds of issues to be present in your game because Bethesda will not fix them. They never did before, at least. So just play it safe and give up any notion of Bethesda fixing them now. Oh, I'm sure they'll fix the DLC thing where your game forgets that you bought them, and maybe even fix some of the hard crashes, but shit like this, forget it. It's been in the game since the Creation Club was added and it'll never go away. These rat fucks will just sweep it under the rug with the excuse of, oh, sorry player, but you install mods at your own peril and responsibility. Even though Creation Club creations were always meant to be curated and made to work by Bethesda, and admittedly in Skyrim they do, but in Fallout 4 it's always been a shot in the dark because even the very developers don't know how to the game works nor how to fix it or stabilize it. They shudder in fear at touching this game. That's how broken it has been since day one. Even back then they would release a patch to fix something and they would break something else. That's really how Bethesda's post-launch support works. They released patches to address issues and stopped whenever the latest patch that they released has finally fixed more issues than it caused. So if you want to buy this, do realize that you are very likely going to have to dance around with your settings and downloadable content. A solution to this, what I had to do all the time already, well before this update, was download each creation individually and leave out the ones that I didn't really want for that specific playthrough, all in the effort of trying to not bloat up my game too much. Actually, I need to do a little aside, because I said that this was never an issue over on the Skyrim thing, and it actually was. It hasn't been an issue on PS5 Skyrim, but on PS4 Skyrim, you would suffer from a bug called the 0 kilobyte bug or whatever the it was called. I had it myself sometimes where your game would run out of memory or some shit. Look guys, I'm not an expert. All I know is that if you installed some mods and you had some creations at the same time, your game would just not fucking work. And I remember being so desperate that I was like, please, 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 please work, stop, please, so I wouldn't install mods anymore, and I would just use the Creation Club creations, and the bug happened anyway. Bethesda never fixed it, and it was always just a shot in the dark. Sometimes you'd be able to start a save file and have a decent playthrough for about 100 to 100 hours. Other times it would crash and corrupt in the middle of it. Thankfully, on the PS5 I haven't experienced this anymore, so at least there's that. But yeah, anyway, I suppose that's all the important points that I wanted to get to. Or at least the ones that have popped into my head. All that is left is more salt and more ranting and more rambling because I'm so damn tired, guys. Like, damn, man. The New Vegas thing could have been a re-release for all current systems with at least all the worst bugs fixed and a bit of a visual upgrade. Nothing too major, just like what we had with Skyrim Special Edition. That would have been more than enough. Bring that goddamn game to all the consoles right now. Let kids these days, you know, who are used to brain rot, experience a good Fallout game before the shit took over. As a dude who got used to playing games on console, I would have appreciated it and even enjoyed getting the platinum as I've been enjoying getting all the gamer score on my Xbox. Or at least do it for Fallout 3, like if you're gonna do Fallout Day, at least do something, but instead they take New Vegas, which isn't even theirs to be honest, and they just re-released the thing for PC at $150 with random shit in it. I don't even know how this passes. Like, dude, you got a figure, you know, it's the highest value item in this thing, and it's Victor. It's not even the iconic Ranger or anything. Also, $150. Could have at least given us a fucking replica of the damn Ranger helmet. But no, like, this is it. A $10 game, a Securitron figure, and then 3 prints of the most random detached thing you could imagine. It's the psychological evaluation cards from Dr. Mitchell. My brother, you could have done various postcards of memorable locations around New Vegas, all themed of course, but you go for some shit that we see at the start of the game and that we literally have mods for skipping. Like, we got mods to skip this entire goddamn thing for people who just want to replay the game again and again and again and don't want to go through the stupid psychological evaluation or the little machine to put points on. And these morons put that up as the prints that we're getting in this $150 version of Piss, Fallout Piss Edition. $150 for a Securitron figure, some stupid ass cards, a pin, a pin. You can put it on your jacket, isn't that neat? And then 2 patches. Holy shit, dude. And then for Fallout 4's anniversary, they literally go, hey Vault Dwellers, you know that broken ass game you love? We're gonna break it even further and sell it back to you as an upgrade for $20. I truly must be out of my damn mind, bro. I'm not here. This isn't happening. Truly, this is not what a fucking multi-million-dollar company that got bought out for $7 billion by Microsoft is actually capable of putting out for their own special Fallout Day. Surely, this is all just a really funny dream that I'm having after hitting my head on a lampshade or some shit.
Fuck off!
Because if this is real life, then someone please make it make sense. How is it that this company is still around? Oh wait, I just remembered, because of Microsoft's acquisitions. The same acquisitions that allowed companies like this and Obsidian to keep degrading in quality year after year after year, but still remain afloat, because instead of being forced to reckon with their own flops, with their own bad ideas, you know, to get in shape, to fire the morons causing these problems, to hire talent and get back to doing good work, they all just fall in the safety net of Xbox's Game Pass dream. What's that about? Well, watch these 2 videos next if you want to find out. That's it from me on this today though, fellas. Thank you all very much for watching and for all the support lately. We are nearing the 24,000 subscribers over here, and if you want to help me get to 25 before the year is out, then please subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.